shitty movie day out of the way. So let's talk about the movie that everybody was ahead of me on and I kind of put off. Why did I put it off? Well, let me tell you something. Me and Jennifer Lopez have a sketchy history. I think she's an overrated actress. I think she's an overrated actress for years. I don't even think she looks that good. Sorry, come at me. I don't care. 90% of people watching her films is because they think she's super hot. Let's be real. The only thing she ever did good in was Celine. Besides that, I have yet to see a Jennifer Lopez performance that just knocks my socks off. So what is this film here? This film is a science fiction action film starring Jennifer Lopez, who's a highly skilled counterterrorism analyst who harbors a profound skepticism towards artificial intelligence and who comes to realize that it may be her sole recourse following a failed mission aimed at apprehending a rogue robot. Now, this movie, unlike the last one, actually has a pretty decent premise. It is starring Jennifer Lopez, Simu Liu, Sterling K. Brown, Mark Strong. So it's got a pretty decent cast. I will say, unlike Trigger Warning, it has better named actors, better effects. But is the story worth your time? So let me dive into the good of this movie. This movie reminds me of the game Titanfall. If you've never played Titanfall, just look up clips. That's basically, they stole the premise of Titanfall and transported it and jiggered around some of the story to make this new thing. It's giant robots, artificial intelligence goes rogue, they go on a mission that goes terribly wrong. Jennifer Lopez has a bad history with AI, but all of a sudden she's alone and she must depend on her wacky AI partner who says funny jokes to get her through this tough situation. It's very by the numbers. It reminds me of if Iron Man was stuck and his computer Jarvis had to be his entertainment and take him through this journey. I think that'd be a more interesting movie. So this takes place in the year 2043. There's a humanoid artificial intelligence terrorist named Arlen who leads a war of machines against humans that leaves 3 million people dead. The military forces decide to launch an attack on his stronghold. When that goes terribly wrong, as one expects, Terminator style, even though Jennifer Lopez tried to warn people, then she is the sole survivor and she must decide whether to entrust her life to this artificial intelligence, being that they were betrayed by an artificial intelligence. So what do I think? First off, they spent $100 million on this movie. And in the effects department, it does show. Now, I'm not going to totally shit on this movie. The special effects are cool. The violence is very brutal, which I was shocked by. There's a lot of brutal kills in this movie. Also, there's a couple of scenes of like mechs being ripped apart with people inside of them and they get torn in two. So that shit's pretty cool. The premise of the story is interesting, but how it's delivered is generic and very predictable. I kind of knew what the twist was going to be. I'm not going to spoil it in case you give a shit about watching this movie. Let's talk about my big negative. Jennifer Lopez she does acting that is so off-keel to what this movie is. And what I mean by that is this movie comes off as a big, dumb, turn-your-brain-off action flick, and she's acting like she's going for an Academy Award in this movie. And I respect wanting to commit to the role, but she took it to Jared Leto and Morbius levels of commitment. And I still find Morbius more entertaining than this. She acts as if this is going to be nominated for an Oscar or something. It is like nothing I've ever seen. She's putting the drama and all of this, and the jokes, one of two of them land, but it's like MCU level rapid fire joke telling from this AI. There's a couple of serious moments, but the issue that I have is I don't really feel the journey for when she has to entrust her life with the AI, because he's been kind of a dick most of the movie. So I don't feel like they're going to have this big epiphany and she's going to just trust this AI after he's been a dick pretty much throughout this whole entire movie. It's very weird. It's very strange. The chemistry is between the AI and Jennifer Lopez is there, I guess. There's a couple of bonding moments, a couple of times that didn't really bother me. Sterling K. Brown is great, but he's always good in any of these shitty roles he's given. He needs a new agent because he is way too good for the shit that they put him in. And once again, this is $100 million, and I do not understand why this needed to be $100 million. I respect them for wanting to put so much faith in this, but Jennifer Lopez is a fucking terrible actress. I'm sorry, it needs to be said. Honestly, I think from my last review, I'd rather have Jessica Alba with a better scriptwriter, clearly, who was on this, who could direct her good, versus Jennifer Lopez. She's very not in sync with what this movie requires. Like, she is too fucking serious in this movie, and you really shouldn't be, because it's big robots fighting each other. Basically, this isn't like Terminator, introspective, think about technology and stuff like that. Like, they raise those questions, but they don't really explore it. They're just like, okay, here's a situation, big robot fight, big starships fighting and shit like that. It's not a think piece, but they want you to feel like it is. It's a very hard for me to rate this, because on the one hand, I just got done watching Trigger Warning, which I gave a 4. Go check out my other review after this one. It's better than that, but it's still very disappointing considering the amount of money and effort that they clearly put into this film that they could have put into the other film and made that one better, which I would have probably rewatched more than this, because I cannot stand Jennifer Lopez. That being said, Mark Strong is pretty good. And Sterling K. Brown, really. They're the best parts of this movie. The AI guy is okay. He's very generic, evil, want world kind of dude. Simu Liu is pretty good. He played in Shang-Chi. He plays Harlan Shepherd. He was pretty good. Hey, lovely Sherry, what's up? Good to see you here. But all in all, this movie was just very, very much like all these other sci-fi movies. And here's my other issue, and I know this isn't fair, but after seeing Dune and what sci-fi can be and how intelligent and action-packed, and get all of these people to watch it who might not know the lore and stuff behind it, and then you have a movie like this that's very generic, typical sci-fi stuff, I don't really see the appeal, and it really pissed me off that this reminds me a lot of Titanfall, and we haven't gotten a Titanfall movie. Netflix, get on that shit. I don't care who you put into it. I'd watch that giant robot fighting movie, but this very much felt like Titanfall to me, and maybe that's unfair to compare this to a video game that I'm sure a lot of people who don't play video games that are on Netflix watch this won't be thinking about, but that's what I thought about this whole goddamn movie. I just thought, I wish we had a Titanfall movie, because it was exactly like that story, like almost to a T, even from people getting out of the robots and fighting outside of it. It's very close to plagiarism. So all in all, this movie isn't as bad as everybody says it is, or as good as everybody says it is. This isn't a masterpiece, but isn't a pile of shit either. I just watched Trigger Warning. That was worse. But this is just what it is. It's a generic blockbuster movie that Netflix shells out money for, that they know a handful of people will watch and people will talk about, and they'll get new subscribers. It feels like every other movie that they've released, like Red or the one with The Rock and Gal Gadot. Like, it doesn't feel like there's any passion or really thought put into the script. It's just kind of like generic sci-fi robot movie number 3, but we have Sterling K. Brown and Jennifer Lopez and the dude from Shang-Chi. So you got the big names to attract people to it. But beyond that, there's no substance in it. There's nothing new or inventive that it's doing. It's actually stealing a lot of shit from better stuff. But with that being said, I gave the last movie I watched a 4. I'd say this was... I'd say for me at least, this would be a 5 out of 10. I put it in the middle. It's a very middle of the road movie. And I like Fast and Furious, and I would even put them there too. This is a very turn your brain off. Don't think about logic, because there's a lot of parts in this movie where I was like, how the fuck did we get here? Because they had a good idea with the story and it falls apart at the ending just to make the ending work so they can have a big fucking robot battle. And there's no fucking reason why the villain makes the decision he makes. It's only so the heroes can catch up and they can do the big battle. And I hate that shit, because this is supposed to be an artificial intelligence and it makes a stupid fucking decision, and you'll know what I mean when you watch the movie. And I'm just like, you had me till about this point where an AI would make a human decision. It goes against the logic, because this thing has been 10 steps ahead of everybody for the whole entire fucking movie, and he makes like a rookie mistake that a human would make, and you're just, I'm supposed to buy that that's going to happen? Like, no. You wanted your big fucking action scene, you compromised your story, and that annoys the shit out of me. I think that's worse than if the story was shit and it had nothing to begin with, and then they make a stupid decision, because the story is interesting till about you get near the ending and you find out where it's all going. And then they make a really stupid fucking decision, and it just tanks the whole entire setup that they built for like damn near 2 hours. And that's another thing. Trigger warning was at least an hour and 47 minutes. This movie is fucking 2 hours and some change. Please stop making these long movies. I don't know how many reviews I gotta say that. I hate wasting 2 hours on shit. Like, if you know your movie's not that great, you don't need to pack in a bunch of stupid shit that doesn't even come back at the end of the movie. That's really frustrating. But all in all, it's not as bad as people say it is. I find it amazing. It's like fucking $100 million budget. That blows my mind that we got this shit from Netflix. Like $100 million. Bro, put that into like bringing back I'm Not Okay With This, or like a good show that you canceled during COVID. That'd be great. How about you take that money you put in this pile of shit and put it into something else? Anyways, it's a 5 out of 10. It's been a frustrating day. These were the 2 worst movies I've watched. So if you want to see big, stupid robot fighting action, I guess turn this on, completely turn your brain off so that you don't have to think about the logic in this film. And you can have a fun time with it. It's gory. There's some cool kills. Jennifer Lopez overacts. The AI is entertaining. Sterling K. Brown is always great. That's all I got. Anyways, in the comments below, let me know. Have you seen Atlas? What did you think about it? What's your favorite sci-fi movie that came out? There's no other right answer but Dune 2. And is there a Netflix movie I haven't seen? Please, God, that's actually good. Because the last, 2 Netflix movies I watched were piles of shit. Stop taking $100 million and giving these people money, Netflix. Put it in your goddamn shows that people watch. Stop making these fucking over-budgeted movies and getting these big actors to play in them, and actually put it into good scripted original content. Please, for the love of God. I want more K-dramas. I've gone down that hole. Anyway, so my next review is going to be Hierarchy, the newest K-drama, speaking of which, and I will break that down, which is far more entertaining. Watch that instead of watching this. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Fandom Zone: kneel before General Zod.